Hello and welcome to Inside View. I'm your host, Joel Metzger, and joining me on the show is Bill Perley. He is recently retired from Calaveras County Water District as the Director of Utility Services and Engineering. Bill, welcome.
Hi.
Great. It's great to have you on the show. So how does it feel to be retired?
I just want to make a political statement here. The only reason why I came back to do the show is because Ed, to try to help him boost up his rating. It feels great to be retired. I'm just glad I'm out of this stuff forever.
Yeah, so how long were you with the district?
Almost 13 years, 7 months, almost 8 months, almost 14 years.
All right. So what are you up to now?
Nothing, because it's raining and I can't golf. So I'm just cleaning my clubs every day.
Is that the retirement plan? Is golfing a big part of it?
Oh yeah, that's my whole retirement plan. Actually, I don't even want a job at the golf course anymore. For a while, I wanted to be a marshal, but I don't even want to do that anymore. I just want to play golf.
Just play golf?
Yeah.
So are you going to stay in the area, or do you think you might head to a different spot?
I'm probably going back to Boston soon. I have to go to Boston. I have to go back to Florida for a little while, and then just head out. See what happens. You never know. I've been all over the world, so it doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's just another place to go.
Okay. Well, before we get into all the things you did at CCWD, you have had a fascinating life, and I thought it might be fun if we just kind of walk the viewers through some of the things you've done. So where'd you grow up, first of all?
I grew up in I grew up all over the place. I grew up mainly in Massachusetts. That's the easiest way to put it. I don't know if you want to walk through everything I've been through. I don't think you do.
So there was some tough times in childhood?
Yeah, I think we weren't doing too good when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, how I got through college, I don't think anybody can figure that out.
Okay. Well, you always were smart, though. So
yeah, I was very smart, but it doesn't matter.
Okay. So you maybe had a rough childhood, but then how did you decide? Okay, I'm gonna do the college route and.
Well, I wasn't going to do college. What I was going to do is I actually took the entrance exam for the service and scored really high on it, and I was waiting to go. And then I got offered a scholarship to college, and I ended up, I don't know why I went to college, but yeah, I had no intention of going to college at all. I was just going to go on the service and get it over with.
Okay. Which,
to this day, I always say that was one of the stupidest moves I ever made in my life. I should have went to the service and not gone to college.
So you went to college, and now I know you played some football too.
I played football for college. That's how I got a scholarship. I got a 100% scholarship. Free ride.
Had you played in high school at all?
Oh, yeah, I was real good.
All right.
I was always a good football player. I could play baseball too. I played hockey. I boxed, wrestled. I could do anything. In fact, one of the guys on Facebook ended up, one of my friends, a long time ago, I broke his nose in a wrestling match by putting him in a bear hug, but that was kind of the way I used to do stuff. I play a little bit rougher than the average person was. I played basketball for a while too, but not too long.
Okay. So football was the one that got you the scholarship?
Yeah, football got me a scholarship. Like I said, actually I was a better baseball player than football player, but the problem was my eyesight was so bad, and I got stuck. The reason why I got stuck on offense was because they were running a drill one time, and I creamed the halfback, and he didn't have the ball. Except I didn't know it because I couldn't see. And that one of the coaches goes, "You can't see, can you?" I said, "No." So I got switched over to offense, and I never left there. In baseball, I used to be a catcher, and as my eyes got worse and worse, I couldn't catch anymore and stuff like that. But yeah, I was a 10 times better baseball player than I was football player, but I just couldn't see. And in those days, you didn't have contact lenses and glasses and stuff like that. You just lumped it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I just lumped it.
And you eventually got to play some pro football, is that right?
Yeah, playing the pros. Yeah, I got a free agent tryout with one of myself and Punter we're friends with one of the radio personalities in Boston. His name's Eddie Adelman, and I got his tryouts, and they picked the two of us up, and we were bounced around there for a while, and then at the same time, but you got to realize in those days, football wasn't a full-time job; it's a part-time job. Okay. There's no. Whatever you think is happening now didn't happen back then. The team's been sold like 3 or 4 times since. We didn't even have a stadium back then. We used to bounce around from place to place, and then they built Foxborough Shaped Stadium, which was a total disaster. And then, then Kraft ended up taking over. Billy Sullivan and his brother were trying to make money off the team, and they really weren't doing it. So
was it a lot rougher sport back then, would you say?
I don't think so, because I think these people are so much bigger right now than they were when we were playing. We were faster, but these people are way bigger and stronger, I believe. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I wouldn't want to hit these guys.
Or be hit by them?
No, I don't think I'd want to be hit by them. I mean,
Yeah.
you can only get knocked out so many times, but yeah, I wouldn't want to get hit by them.
But it was rough on your body. You
Yeah,
definitely.
I've had 5 knee operations and 2 neck operations.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
had 11 broken noses, probably 3 or 4 separated shoulders, stuff like that, and they're going to have to operate on my hand soon because of all this damage to the tendons in my left hand.
Would you do it again if you could
Oh
go
yeah,
back?
like I said, the only thing I would have done, the choice was going to college or in the service, and I don't know why the heck I just didn't go on the service instead of going to college.
Okay.
I should have probably, like I said, to this day, I probably would have picked the service if I had the choice again.
So fast forwarding just a little bit, you became an engineer and
Yeah.
you started working for Parsons. I don't know if there was a big gap after
Yeah.
college or.
No, there was no gap. Well, no, you played football, and then I worked for the government for 8 years, and then I
Okay.
went to work in private sector because I got stuck in the construction grants boom, and that's when we built 16,490 municipal wastewater systems. It was like 5 of us running around out there doing construction, operations, maintenance, and stuff like that, and then kind of trial by fire, they just kind of threw you in the water and hope you'd float. And a lot of people didn't like doing that because most engineers that aren't going to want to have to deal with construction workers and operations people and maintenance people on a daily basis. And I kind of liked it because if they got me mad, they'd get really worried about it. So, because they knew I could do something. You know, they used to get a big kick out of it when I'd be boxed. I boxed professionally for 3 months too, and they get a big kick out of it when I'd come into the construction site and have black eyes and stuff like that, and things like that, or broken fingers and stuff. They used to get a big kick out of that stuff like
Okay.
that.
So, but Parsons, it seems like, took you worldwide.
Yeah, I went worldwide with Parsons. I've been all over the world a bunch of times, and you know, I still get cards and stuff from Korea and all. In fact, Thursday I'm going to meet my ex-boss's son for lunch up in EID and see what he's doing. But yeah, it was a big company.
What are some projects that you're most proud of that you worked on
Me?
with Parsons?
I am not proud of nothing I did. We did to fix like I said, the big thing I did was a couple of things I did. One was save Del Monte Foods, which is down in Mississippi. They had like a 13-day supply of resin left at this company, or they were going to have to put Del Monte Foods out of business. So I went down there, I got blown in there, and then I worked 7 a.m. to midnight, like 10 days in a row, and I got the system running. And obviously, Del Monte Foods didn't go out of business and then all the lawsuits went away, and everybody was happy. And the chairman of the board of International Paper came down and asked me, well, what do you want? I said, well, I'd like to get a postcard. So we had some guy drive me from Mississippi over to Louisiana to get a postcard. And then this other job I did too is over in Korea when they North Koreans poisoned the water supply. I went over there and fixed that. That was on a real short notice too. Got over there and got everything running and adjusted all the stuff. So there was 40,000 troops involved in that. So everything was okay. And then they go to me. They tried to have a banquet for me, and they go to me, well, what do you want? I goes, I just like a postcard. That's the kind of thing. That's all I wanted was a postcard.
Okay.
That's all I ever wanted was a postcard. But yeah, you do stuff like that. But you know, my job at Parsons you know, I had probably over 1,000 people working for me directly, and you'd go worldwide, and you'd go in there when something was really messed up. You get it going in the right direction, and then they pull you out. As soon as they found out that I was starting to have fun, I'd get yanked out of there and sent to some other mess and stuff like that. But you know, like it's telling these guys, one time I was on an island. I was supposed to go down there for 2 weeks, and then because I was working on this denitrification project, because there was a nitrogen problem with the sole source aquifer. So somebody tried for 5 months to get it going. They couldn't get it going. So all of a sudden they sent me down there. Well, in 2 weeks it was a biological system. So I got the thing going in 2 weeks. Well, they didn't want me to leave. So, and it's the middle of winter, so I'm stuck down on this island, right? I got no money. We didn't have ATMs in those days, right? You're on the island. I got no money, no clothes, no nothing. I'm finally calling the Boston office saying, hey, you know, anybody notice here? By the way, I was only supposed to be here for 2 weeks. I have no clothes, no money. What's going on? Maybe we need to do an airdrop or something. And the boat's only running once a day, so you can't go back and forth on a regular basis. So they finally came, you know, because we didn't have ATMs, so they finally at some point got some money down to me and food and stuff and clothes and stuff. But it was like, come on, guys, you know what's going on here? You know, it's like everybody was so happy because everything was running, and it was a real controversial project. So then I get back to the office on a Friday, and what do? They hand me plane tickets to go out to Greeley, Colorado at 7 o'clock on Monday morning to go work on the 75 megawatt cogen. So I go from Friday, get back and get my plane tickets, get on a plane, go back to work at Greeley and get to start up on the 75 meg cogen, which I also did, which we got that going at the University of Colorado, got that going, and then I got to go back. I mean, this is the way I used to have to do stuff all the time. I mean, you go from one screwy situation to the other one, and you know, that's just the way that company does stuff.
What, did you have any family at the time, or?
Yeah, I had family all over. Yeah, they said, they go, well, you must be making a lot of money. I goes, nah, I goes, every time I go home, my wife's part of the closet seems to be a lot bigger than mine. I goes, I don't really know how much money I'm getting. But yeah, they just throw money at you when you're doing stuff like that. I mean, obviously, people are in a lot of trouble. And even when I went back to, I was running 7 jobs in California one time, and they flew me back because Polaroid was having trouble in Fall River, Massachusetts. And obviously, I like doing that, so I'm still in charge of 7 jobs in Massachusetts. Well, some guy breaks his leg, the project manager, on this $125 million job down in Allenstown, Pennsylvania. It's called Ponderosa Fibers. So what do I got to do? I got to work at Polaroid Monday through Friday. Friday night, I got to fly down to Pennsylvania, work Saturday and Sunday in Pennsylvania, and fly back Sunday night to Massachusetts to work. I did that for 3 months. Plus, I was in charge of 7 jobs in California at the same time.
So,
and they go to me, hey, do you mind stopping by Virginia? He goes, what? I'm not going to do that. They had a couple more things for me lined up while I was back there. Might as well take care of them, right? That's what they told me.
So, I mean, you were extremely busy going all over the globe.
Yeah.
And so it's just mind-boggling that we were able to have you work for CCWD. So how did you transition from Parsons to CCWD?
I don't know. I mean, you understand is I try. My old boss gives you 3 weeks to do something. In 1 week, you better be done or you're fired. Okay, that's what I worked under for 12 years. Okay, I mean, I worked there for 18, but I worked for my last boss for 12 straight years, and most people would be lucky to last a year for this guy, and I lasted 12. But it's a whole different world. It's like, I don't know. I prefer private over public. I mean, the people are nice here and stuff like that, but it's just been different here. Luckily that I came here with as much experience as I did. I have good people out in the field. There was questions about stuff, and they weren't true. We had good guys out here, and we melded together and we moved forward. That's how come we kept everything going no matter what was going on above us, and that's how things turned around. But yeah, we have some good guys here.
So what did you find in this district when you first arrived? Like, what was the condition of the district?
Well, you guys needed something like, it's called a needs assessment. It wasn't organized very well. It was your equipment was substandard. It looked like civilization hadn't come up the hill here yet. You needed somebody, you know, with a lot of experience to come up here and just look at this stuff and start moving around. The people up here had ideas, they just didn't know how to make them work and stuff, and that's where I came in. So between me and all the guys that work for me, and you know, we just got stuff going, and they just tell me what the problems was. I mean, the first day I came here, they wanted me to buy some snowshoes. I'm not going to buy snowshoes. I'll go fix the antennas and the generators for you. I'm not going to do any of this stupid stuff. Anytime you tell me something stupid that I have to do, or if you're going to change fuses every 5 minutes for, you know, because it keeps blowing, well, maybe we need to look at the panel or your service or whatever. I'm not going to, but having a box of fuses as your maintenance is not a good way to do stuff, okay? But you know, what you have to do is you have to be able to evaluate the people, which I was always able to do over the years because I knew who could actually do something. Because you're not going to you're not going to BS me because I've done this stuff probably more times than you've ever wanted to know. And you know, I wrote like 4 books and stuff and things like that. So I've got a lot of experience. So once you find the right people, you start working with those guys, and then you start picking those guys up because you can do stuff that it starts building momentum, and that's how you got to do it. And that's what I did here. I found the right people, had them put them in the right spots, and then we organized the district the way it is right now. When I first came here, it was kind of like dysfunctional. I don't even know how the heck the thing was running, but once I got them organized, you know, and developed career ladders for them and put the right people, hired mechanics, electricians, you know, distribution, collections guys like that. Once we got everything lined up there, it was okay. And then you find the right guys, you get those guys, and you show them what they need to do, and you'd be surprised how far they'll take off. I mean, people like doing a good job. They don't like screwing up. Nobody likes getting called an idiot every day. They like knowing that they did something good at the end of the day, and that's what you find worldwide. So what you got, like I said, one of the things I was able to do worldwide is I'd find the guy in the whole wherever I was at that actually really cared about what they were doing and actually would take the ball once I gave it to them.
Did you find that getting out there in the hole or wherever it was with the guys helped a lot to earn respect when you first got here
Me?
and all
Well, I
that?
spent my first 5 years, I think everybody probably ever, I don't know if they've ever heard of this, but I spent almost 5 straight years. And I came here with 27 odd years experience. I spent 5 years almost every day outside with the guys working.
Wow.
So that's what it takes. So if you got a guy with much experience as me going out there, I have to see what they're doing to find out what the heck I need to do. But yeah, I mean, up until the last couple of years, I could physically do all the work like the guys could. I mean, obviously my knee's shot and my neck's shot, so I can't do it. But I get out and lift 100-pound bags of sand in the filters all day with the guys and stuff like that. I can't do it. I mean, I've been able to do it for years, but
Yeah.
but yeah, these guys are good guys. The main thing is you win their respect because you show them that you know what you're doing. I have a lot of confidence in what I do, okay? And I'm also prepared if something isn't going exactly the way I want it to go to make adjustments. Because you know why? Because that's the way it is. Because I'm not sitting in some office where I can close my door and cross stuff off on a piece of paper. You're out there where you actually has to have stuff working. So you're going to find out real fast. I always do warn people, you have a dome player and a grass player. And I've been a grass player my whole life. In the dome, it's nice and warm and cozy. And I play all my games on the grass where it's rainy and snowy and stuff like that. So I'm going to find out real fast with what I did worked or not. And if it didn't work, then I'm going to have to make an adjustment or something to make sure it works. But I'm not going to get to say, you can't do that. I'll wait till tomorrow to draw another piece of paper, a picture on a piece of paper or something like that. So you can't do that. So you find out right away. And a lot of people, that's why most engineers don't want to stay in the field. They don't want to deal with the people. They don't want to deal with the ups and downs out there because it's like a roller coaster ride no matter where you go. No matter how perfect you think a job is designed and stuff, there's going to be problems. I'll guarantee there's going to be. And, you'll be a little widget. Electrical is always a big target because for some stupid reason, there's always a loose wire or something somewhere that you always got to find stuff. But that's just the way it is, and you get used to that. But most people don't like doing that. And I just, for some reason, I don't know, I just like doing it.
One thing that I know that you did early on was you put backup generators almost on every facility so things would continue without interruption. Was that something that you just saw that needed to be done and you just said, we got to get these generators out there? Or?
Well, when they showed me what the snowshoes I needed to buy, that kind of triggered a whole bunch of things. So that was kind of, and then after the second time manhandling 55-gallon drums up at Sawmill with Bobby Carter, with my mechanic, to get the generator going, I kind of figured, but maybe we better fix this while I'm out here running around. So we ended up putting in 35 generators, and then we also relocated the SCADA tower from Hunters to Arnold, and we got a straight shot up there. And
SCADA, for people who don't know,
supervisory control and data acquisition. That's how you run this system. You can't. It's like the eyes and ears of the whole system. If the SCADA doesn't work, you don't have enough manpower here to run this system. And that's one of the big reasons why. Now you get Oliver and his crew is excellent at taking care of SCADA and stuff like that. When I first came here, I used to actually have to work on PLCs myself, which is pretty pathetic because I wouldn't want, and I used to warn people I wouldn't stand very close to me when I'm working on electrical because I have absolutely no fear of electrical, even though it'd probably kill me because I worked on generators, hydros, and stuff like that.
So SCADA allows you to control things remotely, and you can set things off, turn things on, turn things off without having to be there. So that was a huge upgrade.
That was big because it was, I don't even know what the heck happened out here, but they had like 5 different PLCs at your water plants and your wastewater plants, which didn't even make any sense. They all talk a different language, so if anything happened, I don't even know how the heck we got the thing started again. So we cleaned up that mess, and then we had to clean up the radios and stuff. The antennas were all made in some guy's garage somewhere. I don't know where they were, but we put them all up to standard and stuff like that, and then we relocated the hub site up at Ebbets Pass up to Arnold would stop that. I mean, they used to run, wouldn't be unusual to have no communications for 7 days around there.
Another thing that you were exceptionally good at was getting grants. How did you get your expertise on that?
Grants?
Yeah.
When I worked for the government, I worked actually out of the grants program.
Okay.
I was a 308, but yeah, I know I know. Plus, you got to realize too, in the Oakland fires, I was in the Bay Area for Parsons, and one of the problems when you work for a big company like that is they needed some people to write DSRs, damage survey reports, so they ended up certifying me as a FEMA inspector, so they had me go to school and taught me how to write damage survey reports, and I know all the guys down there. Since I've been here, we've gotten 5, this is the 5th FEMA grant that we just got.
How many millions would you say you've been involved with?
Here?
In grant money here, yeah.
I don't know, a lot, because you can get 9.7 at San Andreas, and we just got another 500,000 before I left too. I don't know. And then I helped the county work on the jail project over there too, which is a big issue too, which knocked that off. And then, to be honest, even though we got a bunch of money for CCWD, it also caused chain reaction in some of the other small communities around here where we actually got money. In fact, actually, when I was down in Sacramento one time, I actually talked about, on behalf of Angels Camp and Murphy's and Valley Springs in particular. In fact, I really hammered hard on Valley Springs trying to get some money. But, obviously I'm bringing a lot of money to CCWD.
And I should have mentioned that you also served as a director over at the San Andreas Sanitary.
Yeah, I was elected and re-elected, yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing you did around here.
Well, I was only trying for 10 votes, and I was kind of surprised that more than 10 people voted for me.
Okay.
Well, luckily, because, you're right, I mean, I heard about the stimulus money. We ended up getting, we were either 1 or 2 in California and getting stimulus money at San Andreas. So how imagine that? We were written up in all sorts of newspapers and trade magazines. They couldn't believe a small little district like us got it. And that's like, my attitude was, why? Who are you?
Why not? Yeah.
Right, and then later on, like you said, last year, this is unbelievable. The State Water Resource Control Board actually requested that Washington, D.C. have me give a speech explaining how the small communities can get grants. It was only supposed to be for 130 communities up in Sacramento, and it ended up being a nationwide webinar, so I couldn't fool around as much as I normally fool around. But yeah, I had explained to the people how to get these grants and stuff. And and what stinks about being somebody like me is if you actually know how to do the work, the questions never end. So instead of getting to stand there for 20 minutes, you're there for an hour and a half because they're asking you specific questions. And since I actually do the work, I can actually answer the specific questions almost every time. So it's kind of stunk because I kept complaining about, I got to go golfing and you guys keep asking me this stuff here and I want to leave.
So there was there were actually a couple emergency projects this year, but the first was that there was a threat that Lake Tulloch might be drawn down.
Yeah.
What was that, and how did you solve that issue?
That one we lowered the pumps from, that one I believe, I don't think that threat will ever go away because California is like 1 year away from a drought every year. I mean, everybody knows that. And the district isn't in control of the water supply in that area. All we do is have the rights to divert some water out of there. So we moved the pumps. The pumps were at elevation 465. I found out that the reason why was because the district used to do maintenance on the pumps themselves. So it should have been put at 420. So all we did was relocate them at elevation 420.
So you sunk them down deeper in the reservoir.
Right. So now, no matter what happens, unless everything is completely dry, the people in Copper Cove will have water. And then
So that's huge.
that was huge. Actually, that was a pretty neat job. That worked out really well.
And then the second thing, and actually the general manager, Dave Egerton, gave you high praise on this, was how you handled the Butte fire. Can you walk us through your involvement in that emergency?
Who, me? Mm-hmm. Basically, I worked with CAL FIRE. He gave me high praise, huh?
He did, yeah.
Oh,
It was
really?
in the newspaper. Did you see
It
it?
cost $5. I don't read. They get. No, we worked with CAL FIRE like we always do. I mean, I've been through probably 6 fires here. I mean, obviously the 602 tank was one that I got funded to. That was a $150,000 tank. We got $1.2 million for. If anybody can figure out how to do that, I'll give them a quarter. But it's actually pretty simple when it comes down because that would be a water code issue that everybody looked the other way on, except for me. But no, basically we just work with CAL FIRE every day. Obviously we supply water. Obviously CPUD was getting hit worse than us because that was where the closest water supplies were. West Point was drawing water. We also, so we'd work directly with the operations people, and then there was a threat to Ebbets Pass, so we set up fill stations, and then we worked along the Ebbets Pass 4 corridor. And then we did some assessments and stuff. We attended a bunch of meetings and stuff, and we looked at the burn area, and we determined that this is going to cause a major issue with the Jenny Lind water supply. And I talked to the head of OES. His name's Paul Ransom. The OES has treated this community with really good since I've been. Like I said, I've gotten 5 pretty good-sized grants from these guys. And this was a pretty good project. And I explained to him what was going to happen. And there's absolutely no question that it's not going to happen. It's happening right now. And so the government ended up throwing in $2.8 million to fund pre-treatment of Jenny Lind, which we just, actually my last day on the job here for CCWD or whoever my employer was, because I'm not representing CCWD in any way, but I got notified they were going to get the money. They wanted to hurry it up anyway because they knew, I got invited to a meeting and they asked me if they had $25 million they had to get rid of, so they needed somebody with some ideas, so I told them, I gave them 3 ideas and one of them they really loved, so that was the one that's getting built.
Are there any suggestions you would have for how the county could handle an emergency like the Butte Fire better in the future?
Well, yeah, they could get reestablished the MAC. That was one of the problems that was going on. You know, Sheep Ranch, we took some hits on because we couldn't supply water. Well, typically, we don't allow the fire water tenders to hit Sheep Ranch because there isn't a big enough supply over there, and the pumps aren't big enough. So we typically direct them to other sites, but since there was minimal coordination, the damage was already done by the time we got in there. And you know, the people were mad. We supplied them with bottled water. Then we had the issue with having to, you know, disinfect the system and stuff like that. Took a little bit long. That's the first time since I've been here that we had to do that. We've actually had 2 fires in that area beforehand. So I mean, Armstrong Fire, which is the name of the road where the plant is actually was one of the fires, and we didn't have that problem because there wasn't any. There was coordination, and when we diverted people out of there. But they need the county. Because wildfire mitigation is not eligible for FEMA. The trick to getting money is you have to find out what is available out there. Then you have to find out what type of project you have and try to fit it into your puzzle. It's like the redwood tanks. Everybody gets a big kick out of that. And I know the people here don't understand it, but because we didn't get the tanks funded, we got fire resistance material funded, which also opened the door. And this is why the head of Cal OES called me up and wanted to meet me over at the title company that wanted to say thanks for coming up with the screwy idea, which is like, I come up with screwy ideas all the time. Nobody says thanks to me. They usually try to kick me. But the thing was, is it opened the door, and a bunch of other redwood tanks get funded because the federal government does not fund structures. So when I originally put the NOI, notice of intent, in, I get bounced on the structural, and I said, what are you, crazy or something? So then I looked at the regulations, and they fund fire resistance materials. So I said, why don't I put up fire resistance walls and put up a fire resistance roof? Will that count? And they said, yeah. So I sent it in, and it got passed. So that's kind of how that, but he got a big kick out of that. So that's one thing that happened there.
So I wanted to ask you what you're going to miss most about being in Calaveras and working for CCWD and San Andreas Sanitary.
Well, I'm going to miss the crews that work for me. Actually, this is the longest I've ever been anywhere. Nobody would ever. If I was at Parsons, they would never let me stay this long. I would never get to stay. It was a lot of fun working with those guys. They did a good job for me, and you know, I just hope they just got to keep doing what they're good at. And you know, like if you last this long with me, usually you can last with anybody because. That's kind of how things go. The people treated me really good around here. You know, the boards have always been good to me. They never actually, you know, it's just been, you know, different. But they've always been good to me. I mean, when I came here, the first lecture I get is, you know, we don't want to keep funding this stuff and not building. I said, really? No problem with that. I think I can do that. So I started moving right away. I mean, it's like. It's easy, but when you're working with, it's a big difference between working for a big corporation and a small district like this. It's a whole different world here. You can't imagine the differences between what I was doing before and what we're doing here. It's completely different. I mean, the smallest job we touched at Parsons was $30 million, okay? That's your whole district, your whole county, okay? So that gets us in the door, maybe, you know? So you're dealing with a whole different world there. But the systems and stuff you use, I mean, I did a needs assessment here the same as I did in Philadelphia, and we also did down in Los Angeles. We also did one in Providence, Rhode Island. I just did the same stuff that we did everywhere. Just had to scale it down. I just wasn't used to dealing with such small stuff here.
Yeah, well, Bill, we all owe you a debt of gratitude, and we wish you the best with your retirement. Thanks for coming on.
I did this for Ed.
Thank you for joining me on Inside View. I'm your host, Joel Metzger, and I hope you join me next time.
Get